Hi friends, we are back today with a vlog unboxing of my new Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra 2025. I've got this particular watch. Actually, I got it yesterday, but I was too busy to unbox it. So this is the titanium silver color 2025 edition. I got it on the Amazon Great Indian Festival this year. I also got a Spigen strap, which is much recommended. Now, first of all, about the deal, right? So I've been looking at eyeing getting the Galaxy Watch Ultra for a while, or maybe the Classic. I wasn't fully decided because I did have an Apple Watch, which lasted me close to 3 years, Apple Watch 7 with LTE, but then it conked off at the end of 3 years. It was getting slower and the battery wasn't lasting, and then I changed the battery, but after a few months it just conked off when I went for a swim, so it doesn't even sort of boot. It just keeps giving the Apple symbol. So then I had to sort of fall back to my backup watch, which is the OnePlus Watch 2R. So you can see it right here. A really nice watch, with a lot of functionality. It lasts me easily 3 days of battery, but it does not have LTE, and also it does read the heart rate erratically. So when I'm exercising, it typically reports either too high or too low. When I'm having a slow jog, it suddenly tells me my heart rate is 160 plus, or sometimes it tells me it's 130 or 120 while it should be 140. So because of these reasons, I decided that I needed to go back to a big brand like either a Samsung or an Apple. Now I do have an iPhone from my office, iPhone 16, and then I do have my personal phone, which is a Galaxy S24 Plus. So this I got almost a year ago, last November. So it's 10 months old, S24 Plus. A beautiful phone. It's one of the best phones I ever had. It's got this light purple shade. The screen's gorgeous. I always use it at full resolution. And you can see that, it's got a beautiful display and everything. And it is, after all, a Galaxy phone, right? And I've started to trust and use Samsung a lot more since I switched to this phone. Before, I didn't have such a great experience of the UI of Samsung. But in the last 10 months, I've grown to really love the One UI. It's actually, I think, a lot better than even iOS at this point in terms of its fluidity, intuitiveness, ease of use, and sort of doing what you expect it to do, the reliability and the ruggedness. And of course, the display quality is just gorgeous. It's so beautiful. So I said, why don't I now look at Samsung? Because I've had two Apple Watches, one Apple Watch 3, and then of course this Apple Watch 7. And I did look at Apple Watch, the newest Apple Watches. They were really expensive, especially for the Ultra, which is what the level I wanted to go to next, is kind of get the Ultra of each watch. Whether it be Samsung or Apple, and the Apple Ultra watches had grown really, really expensive. So I was eyeing the Galaxy Watch Ultra since it was launched last year, the 2024 edition. It also was quite pricey, right? About 60,000, 55,000, maybe 50,000 in the best possible deal circumstances. So I didn't quite go for it. And then came the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2025, which is typically essentially the same watch. You can't even tell it apart if you're looking at it from outside. But it does have extra memory, 64 GB on board, and it comes One UI 8 out of the box. So those are the reasons I decided to go for the Galaxy Watch Ultra. I did compare the Watch Classic as well. But it does look like the Classic does have a smaller battery. So The battery has been a bit of an issue in all the reviews with the Galaxy Watch Ultra or any Galaxy Watch 8 series, because it lasts about 2 days, is what people say. And I'm used 3 days on my OnePlus Watch 2R. So I've been a little bit debating about the Classic, although it does look, in my opinion, a little bit better and more manageable size than the Ultra. But given the Ultra has a slightly larger battery and I did want to go to the Ultra level on my next smartwatch, I did decide to go for it. Now this package arrived. So now about the deal, right? I waited for quite a while before taking the plunge. I was following the prices. I looked at a blue watch, which is really a beautiful design. And it was coming at almost 30K, or a little less than 30K, $29.99 on the Great Indian Festival. But the more I looked at it, I realized that that seller is not selling India-made Galaxy Watch Ultras. They were selling either Canadian versions or Latin American versions. And most of the reviews and online forums like Reddit did say that the LTE bands may not be compatible, and it may not be, sometimes it may even be locked to that country, like Rogers as a carrier in Canada. So I actually ordered it, and it was on transit, the 29.99K blue color, but then I canceled it. I got cold feet and I went for the India made one, which is sold by Click Tech Retail. So please do look at which is the seller that's selling you the Galaxy Watch Ultra, because some of the sellers do not actually provide India-made watches. So this one did, and it does show, if you look at the description, that it is made in India. So Dixon Technologies is the one that's making this watch. It's made in India. It is made in September 2025. So it's a pretty recent make. It's now beginning of October. So this is a freshly minted watch. And do make sure it's a 2025 version, right? There are a lot of 2024s also floating around. If you get a really good deal, you could just go for it, but still 2025 gives you that extra memory of 64 GB and one UI out of the box. You don't have to upgrade. So that's fantastic. So here in the Samsung label, you'll be able to see the manufacturing year, like 2025 over here. And it says that this is a titanium gray. So that's how I decided, because the blue wasn't available in the Indian made watch, it was out of stock, and I didn't want to let the deal go. I got this watch for 37K, right? That's the kind of price, 36.6 or something like that, with the credit card offer on SBI in the Amazon Great Indian Festival. So that's the kind of benchmark price for me. The watch is originally MRP'd at $69,999. So getting it at 37K is almost like a 54% discount. So it's good enough for me. Maybe I could have got an even better deal. Some people have reported getting this for 34, 35. But hey, I need the watch, and it's a genuine one, and it is India made. So for all these reasons, I decided to go buy it. Now, another thing that I bought alongside in the same package it arrived was a Spigen band for the Watch Ultra. It's supposed to be it's called the Galaxy Watch Ultra watch band, and it costs about 2,000 rupees. Duroflex strap, that's what it's called, the Spigen Duroflex strap. And it's supposed to be much lighter and matches well with the Galaxy Watch Ultra. So we'll do the unboxing of both. So having so now I'm gonna go do the unboxing. So let's do the needful and cut the seal over here. Actually, you don't need to cut it. It's just a tab that just opens like that. So there you go. I have opened both the tabs and unboxing the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2025. And the shade that I have here is called the titanium silver. I keep getting confused between the shade names. There is a titanium silver, there is a white, there is a titanium gray, and there is a blue. Now, titanium silver seemed to be the best for me because it has, this is actually, I think, the gray or the blue. The titanium silver has a slightly shinier thing that we will see right now, the face. which seemed to be a good fit for me. It doesn't have all the orange markings. So this is titanium silver. The titanium gray has orange markings on the outer bands. So it makes it difficult to use it with anything other than orange strap. But this one is more subtle. It does have a bit of orange over here, but I think I could use it with a you know, even a blue strap if I so wanted. So here's a watch, and also comes with a strap. So right here, there's nothing else in the box, so let's put that aside. So the strap here is also the blue, well, it seems like a bluish color, but it's actually black. It should be a grayish black from what the picture showed. So let's see what exactly that is. Yes, the strap is actually a grayish black strap. Very quite thick actually. It does feel like quite substantial, solidly built. You know, you got the brushed aluminum look all over. That is a tough ultra look. Very wide band. So if you compare to my OnePlus Watch 2R, I can just kind of see the width of the band in comparison, right? The two bands over here. So the 2R is the green one, and then you can see the Ultra. So see how different it is in terms of the width. So if you compare side by side, it's at least, like, I would say a couple of millimeters wider than the OnePlus 2R. So you can see the difference in width over there. Okay, so that's about the strap. Now let's go to the watch. So I'm putting aside everything here. Of course, I may not actually wear the Samsung strap because it does look, it does feel a little heavy actually. And it seems to be the kind of material that might actually cause a little bit of, I don't know, maybe heaviness, feeling of heaviness in your hand, and maybe also the material can get caught up in the body hair and things like that. So I might actually end up using my Spigen strap, but we'll come to that in a minute. Okay, now on to unboxing the actual watch. So again, this is sealed, so I'll have to sort of cut the seal open. It's good to see that it's actually fully sealed when it comes from Amazon. There are a lot of fake watches being sold on different platforms, so you need to be very careful to make sure the seller is reputed. Not just the platform, but the seller is also reputed. That's something very important to bear in mind. So now we will see that it has got the watch, of course, and also instruction booklet, I guess, and all that. So here, oh yeah, it does come with the charging pod, of course. So just like an Apple Watch, just exactly like an Apple Watch charging pod, USB-C connector on this side and the charging pod on this side. So yeah, it does look, it's very light, so it should be travel friendly. So let's set that aside as well and focus now on the actual watch. All right, so here it is, the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2025 titanium silver. So you can see that it does look quite big actually on my hand. Like, for example, when comparing to the OnePlus 2R, you can see that they are kind of on the dial size of the dial is almost the same. In fact, I would say that the watch is not actually any bigger, maybe a little bit bigger than the OnePlus 2R, Watch 2R. So Watch 2R already has a very big dial, 46 mm. So this has got a similar size, but the difference is the weight and thickness. So the 2R is already thick, but this is even thicker. So supposedly this is almost more than a centimeter. If you consider from this level all the way to this level, but just this one alone is almost a centimeter, and 2R is a little bit thinner and is definitely a lot lighter than the Galaxy Watch. Of course, the Galaxy Watch has a lot more features and functions than the 2R does, including LTE, you know, many more sensors, and it's built to a very high standard to be able to endure high altitudes, high heat, high water depths, and all of that. So one thing that people told me to double check is that to make sure the watch is genuine, to make sure that it could read, I could read the fine print, right? So I'm going to turn on this torch and show you on the black dial over here. I could actually read very clearly. It says here, for example, GPS 10 atmosphere, and rated 5 volt, 2 ampere, made in India. So very clear lettering. It is a black band on which the lettering appears, but really, really clear in terms of the lettering, which is one of the checks to make sure it's a genuine watch. The other thing that to make sure it's a genuine watch is that it is screwed on. So you can actually see the small screws, 4 of them on the 4 edges of the watch, which is another proof point that it's actually genuine. And then it should have 2 open speaker slots as well. And of course, very, very well finished overall, look and feel. So this does look quite genuine because of all of these things. So please do make sure that you check that your Galaxy Watch is indeed genuine, because that is one of the complaints that I saw on various forums, that it is actually a lot of fake watches out there. So now let's attach the strap. So it seemed like it seems easy enough to attach it. So you basically just press down, and it should attach itself, from what I heard on the reviews. But let me just use this button as well. Yeah, use the button and it does that very easily, very nicely. And then use the button here again, press the button at the back and push this in, and there you go, the strap's attached. So all right, so now that's what the whole watch looks like. It's kind of a nice color, actually. The band is not totally black, it's not gray either, so it's a grayish black kind of strap, and it kind of matches very well this bezel over here, and the silver, this brushed aluminum is almost an exact match to that on the buckle. And overall, yes, it does look good. So when I wear it in my hand, it's a similar mechanism to OnePlus. So you basically wear it this way, and then on the back you have to sort of ascertain that it fits one of the holes here, and then of course put this back in, and this is movable. It doesn't have a lot of ply for people with larger hands, so you only have 4 more holes left actually in my hand before this whole thing runs out. So it's just about okay for a person with a big hand. I will try the Spigen though. Maybe it's a bit of a better fit, because I do like to have a little more ply and have this thing come up a little higher on the watch ideally. But there it is. It is the OnePlus Watch Ultra. So does it feel heavy on my hand? Kind of does. But I think I'll get used to it. It definitely feels heavier than the 2R. The 2R is featherweight compared to this, because of course this 2R is aluminum. I didn't get the OnePlus Watch 2, which was steel, and this is titanium. So you can see the whole range. The 2R got dinged quite easily on the dials. You can see a lot of cuts there as you bang your watch a lot against doors and things like that. And I do need to think about how I protect my Galaxy Watch Ultra, because it might kind of do the same. So now I'm going to pause and I'm going to set up this watch and then show you in the next part of the video the actual features and everything. Thank you. Okay, now I've got the Galaxy Watch Ultra set up over here. It is actually quite brilliant in terms of the screen. I'm really impressed by it. It is a 46 or I think it's 47 Super AMOLED screen. So you can see how different the brightness is between that and let's say the OnePlus 2R, which is also an AMOLED screen. The OnePlus 2R has a slightly dimmer screen, I would say, and you can see the difference here. It is not as bright as the Galaxy Watch for sure. Just going to give you a different watch face so you can see the brightness of this watch and the other watch. So this is a similar watch face, and you can see how The OnePlus, it just keeps locking itself. But you can see how the OnePlus Watch 2R watch face is not just quite as bright as that of the Galaxy Watch. Now it is heavy, so when I compare the two, this is about 1.x times heavier than that one. I don't have an exact measuring scale, but I can see that it is at least 50% heavier. And part of it might be due to the strap, because the strap itself is quite big, like a crocodile almost, right? Like very heavy and thick compared to this strap, which is quite thin. So part of it could be just the strap. Now this has got, so when I wear it in my hand, the strap just goes around so far, not quite as much as I would like, but it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I can live with it. I would ideally have liked the strap to come around a bit more, but that's fine. Now you can see how, when I wear this, it's not set for any lock yet, but it's got these different swipe gestures. So if I actually swipe, from the home screen, I swipe up, I get all the apps. And then if I swipe down, I get the quick settings, like for example, to mute the speaker, or turn on the torchlight, or turn on and off the Wi-Fi. All of that's right here in the quick settings. And then if I actually swipe to the right, I get the health notifications, and sleep scores, energy scores, all of that stuff. And then if I swipe to the right, I get all the notifications. So this is One UI 8 for the watch on top of Galaxy Wear OS 6. And it's pretty good, I would say. It is quite smooth. The movements are very smooth. The screen is fantastically smooth to navigate. The way that things move around is very fast. It's got a single OS compared to this one, which has got a dual OS. So if you actually look at, I'm going to just wear it so I can show you the difference between the two watches a bit better, without the OnePlus Watch locking up every single time. So if you actually see the OnePlus watch, right, which is now finally going to come on and stay on, so you can see now the difference in the brightness and everything. So this one's actually not, if I do the home screen, that's an always on display. I mean, I was on always on, and now it's a proper display. And you can see how the two watches are actually quite different in terms of, if I go to the always on here, and same here, then you can see, for example, if I go to the app screen, then you can see how different the two displays are between the OnePlus 2R and the Galaxy Watch Ultra. So the Galaxy Watch Ultra is a bit more bright. It is a bit bigger because of the bezel around the OnePlus Watch 2R. It is also it's able to, it doesn't have this kind of configuration of the apps, which is an Apple Watch copy on the OnePlus. This has got a linear movement of the apps, so it's harder to locate apps, because here you can see every app very fast, and here you'll have to kind of scroll around to actually get the apps. But overall, yeah, the display is obviously better on the Galaxy Watch. It's also got what's called a digital bezel. I haven't yet activated it, but if you actually activate it, it's got what's called as a digital bezel. So you basically can move around a bit more if you did that. Now for showing you a little bit of the features. Now about the OS, right? The first difference is the OS. So the OnePlus Watch uses a dual OS. So it's got the actual Wear OS 4 most of the time, but when you're sleeping or when it's not active, it switches to a much more basic OS that doesn't consume much power, and that's how it's able to go 4 days. Whereas this one is a purely Wear OS 6, right? It's always on Wear OS 6. It doesn't have any dual operating system. What makes this the dual OS painful on the OnePlus is that when you actually want to go for a walk in the morning, you wear the watch and you haven't yet unlocked it, and when you actually unlock it, it is actually in the other boot, right? It's on the other OS. And that makes it painful because it has to switch back when you want to start exercising or something to the new OS, to the Wear OS. And that takes about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. And you might sometimes just forget to actually, let's say you might just forget to turn on exercises because it's still switching OS. I don't have that. I won't have that problem here because here you are always on the same Wear OS and it's ready for workouts or anything that you want immediately. So that's a big benefit I feel in the Galaxy Watch. The battery life, I have to test it, but most of the reviews say it's going to be about 2 days, not 3 days, whereas this one gives me solid 3 days, sometimes even 3.5 days because of the dual boot, dual OS. The other problem is the charging speed. I think this is going to be, so if you see here, now it's at 98% charge, I think. But if I run out of charge on this, it's going to take a lot longer to charge. I think it takes about 2 hours to charge from 0 to 100, whereas this one does that in about 40 minutes, 50 minutes. The OnePlus has a Super WOOC technology to charge, so that's going to be better. Now, is it worth paying that much more, 37K for this watch versus, and this one's available right now around 12K or 11K, so almost a third of the price or less versus this one? I don't really know. I have to wear it for a longer time to actually figure it out. I think that's all I have to show you at the moment. So I'm going to use this watch for a bit. It's got a beautiful, let me just show you the settings for a little bit, just to show you the, so it's set to the Samsung account. And then I haven't yet been able to activate the 5G connectivity. I think there was an error on the Airtel server, so I have to try that again later. So I can see that the display brightness is adaptive over here. It's got, also I've turned on the always on display and raise to wake. So those are all available. Font style is set for normal fonts. I could set it to a slightly smaller font size if I wanted to fit more in, I guess. But right now it's to go back to the previous screen, you have to right swipe, which is a little bit strange because you're always used to the left swipe on the smartphone. So that's one thing they could improve. Touch sensitivity settings are there, gloves. So it's got a lot of features and options that you can activate. And on the battery, it is still learning my battery usage pattern. Right now, 98% available. I could turn on power saving, but I'm not going to do that right now. Let's see how long this lasts. It's going to show you the battery usage and all of these features. And so yes, it's got lots and lots of customization options, which is great, almost as much as in the phone. Security, privacy, location, device care, all of these things available on the setup. So that's great. It's got a floating compass right here, so that's great as well. Well, thank you, friends. That's all for now, and I will be back after using this watch for a few weeks. Bye-bye.